Hey, welcome back everyone, Mike Zeroh here once again. Hope you all are having a great weekend. Today we are diving into Darth Vader as a character and whether or not he will be returning in a future anthology film. Now, in case you guys do not know what Disney's plan is, currently they have Episode 8 coming out this year, Han Solo next year, and in 2019 we have Episode 9. Beyond that, we really don't know as of right now what's to come. It has been speculated that Boba Fett is still in the works. However, I have heard different sides of the story that film apparently got scrapped for 2020, so I don't know what's to come for 2020. But the biggest question for me when it comes to Darth Vader is, will Darth Vader return in a future anthology film, and how soon will it be? Are we going to have to wait a very long time for this to happen? Now, if you know Disney, if you know Lucasfilm, they should be very, very smart to include Darth Vader at least another time in a future anthology film, and I think that a great opportunity to do so would be in the Han Solo anthology. Now, in case you guys don't know, there is a Han Solo solo film, a Han Solo anthology film coming out in 2018. And I think that based on what they have given us so far, we really don't know exactly what the plot is in total. We do know that the overall tone will be that of a Western, but we don't know exactly what Han Solo's origins will be in this film. Now, we have heard that they may stick with something from the old EU, where Han Solo was in the Imperial Army, and if they were to go down that way, I think that would be a perfect way to introduce Darth Vader once again. I think that by having Darth Vader's presence in these anthology films, even if they are very, very small and have very little screen time, I think that it really makes Darth Vader seem like he is here with us in these films quite often. Now, I know that some of you may disagree with all of this. Some of you say, you know, we should leave Darth Vader behind. He's had his time already in the original trilogy, and he had his time as Anakin Skywalker in the prequel trilogy, eventually becoming Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith. Now, I totally understand some of you who disagree with this whole entire concept of him returning, once again, in a future anthology film, but I think that to have him in the Han Solo anthology film based on, you know, depending on what story they go with, is what I'm saying, I think that Darth Vader would fit in there perfectly, especially if they chose a story where Han Solo is in the Imperial Army and he breaks out, you know, he wants nothing to do with it anymore, he finds Chewie, teams up with him, gets to know Lando, and the whole deal. I think that would be the perfect way to put Darth Vader in there. It would just fit perfectly fine. Now, do I have doubts that he's to be in the Han Solo anthology film? For sure. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen, but I think that we will get Darth Vader once again in another anthology film. Now, the other side of the story here, you know, is what about James Earl Jones? We do know that he is getting pretty high up there in age. He's in his, 80s now? And I think that, you know, we really don't necessarily know how long he will be around with us, and it's really hard to determine exactly what Disney and Lucasfilm's plan really is when it comes to such an iconic character as Darth Vader. Will they make a solo film for him in the future? If so, would it have James Earl Jones? That's a big question open on the table for discussion. We really don't know. And I think that what Disney and Lucasfilm's plan is, I think they're going to have him appear in every other anthology film. Kathleen Kennedy even made a certain statement some weeks or months ago, I forgot what it was, but it implied that maybe Star Wars Episode 9 would be the last of the trilogy films. Now, this is what George Lucas wanted originally anyway. He wanted a beginning, a middle, and an end. 3 trilogies, right? And that was going to be it. He actually had his own storylines for an Episode 7, 8, and 9 a very long time ago. And I think that what Kathleen Kennedy said, you know, it gave us a little bit of a whiff that, you know, they are to stop at Episode 9 when it comes to the mythology films, the trilogy films. And if they were to stop at the trilogy films, I think a great concept for Disney would be to have 2 anthology films a year. One actually being based on the dark side characters, and one being more so based on the heroes. And you would have 2 films a year that are both anthology films, and I think it would work perfectly, because I think that to have just a Darth Vader solo film, you know, I think that Disney and Lucasfilm may feel a little reluctant doing so, because it's a film all about just a villain per se. Now, I have no problem with that. I think it's pretty awesome and badass, to tell you the truth. But I just got this gut feeling that Disney would actually rather have 2 films focusing on the heroes for one, and the other focusing on the villains. And I think that that will happen after episode 9, if they decide to no longer do any more trilogy films at all, and they just focus solely on anthology films. So for Darth Vader to return, I think that it's very unlikely that we would be getting him in the Han Solo film, unless his origin is where he was in the Imperial Army. But I think that when we're looking ahead, I think that we're definitely going to see more Darth Vader, without a doubt. I really don't believe that this is the last that we're going to see him. I really don't believe that. Again, Bob Iger, you know, that was his plan. He did say that these Star Wars films are going to go on forever. And as long as they're doing well, guys, they're going to keep coming out and coming out. And it's really hard to believe, you know, for me, in my perception here, that they would stop having Darth Vader in these films so fast. Now, I don't think they're going to overdo it or anything. I think they're just going to have him in every other film here and there for a little while, and just to know that he's there. And then eventually I think that they're going to move on. I think that Disney and Lucasfilm, they're really building something great here. And then they're going to go beyond once they have that all established. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video for today. Make sure to drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Is Darth Vader going to return in a future anthology film? Would love to hear from all of you guys. And make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. Thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, I am not the one. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.